In today's video, I'll be teaching you 5 things you absolutely must know before you move to South Los Angeles. Let's get into it. Welcome to the channel, Living in Los Angeles. My name is Ra-sōn Theus, your Los Angeles real estate broker, and I would like to offer you my services to hold your hand and to guide you through the entire home buying or home selling process. Now, I put this channel together for folks just like you to help you learn everything you need to know about living in the city of LA. So if you're here, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that every week when I release new videos, you will be notified. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys 5 things that you absolutely need to know before you decide to call South Los Angeles your new home. Now, what you want to understand is that South LA is a huge part of LA County. It's a really large region and it has several cities even within South LA. But the things we're going to talk about today are pretty specific to South Los Angeles and just things you want to know about before you decide to make this your home. So the first thing that's most important if you're considering making South Los Angeles your new home is that you want to come and visit South LA before you make any decisions. So even if that's only for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, you want to take a trip to Los Angeles if you're not already living in the area, and you want to come and spend some time in South LA and some of the other parts of Los Angeles so you can get a feel for what the vibe is like, what the community actually looks like, what it's like to shop in the neighborhoods, and what it's like to actually interact with the people. This is really important because South Los Angeles is not for everyone. It's for those who can appreciate all the things that come along with living in South LA. So I highly recommend to reach, first of all, you usually want to have a realtor involved when you're considering moving somewhere. Obviously, you can always reach out to me. If you reach out to me, we'll schedule an appointment. We'll talk about the days you're going to be here. I'll set some time aside and I will take you around on a driving tour and show you the different parts of South LA and other parts of LA, just so you can have a vibe for what the differences in the neighborhoods are and what the different areas are going to bring, the pros and the cons. So absolutely vitally important before you decide to make a decision on South LA being your home. You need to come out here, spend some time in the communities, spend some time in the area, get a nice tour from someone like myself or another realtor that you trust, or even a friend and family member that you trust. Have them take you around, show you around so that you know exactly what you're getting into. Now, another thing I want you guys to know about is the cost of living in South LA. Now, talking about LA and Los Angeles County has one of the highest cost of livings in the entire world. We're ranked within the top 10 places in the entire United States and in the world. But when it comes to Los Angeles County, South LA has one of the most affordable cost of livings in all of LA County. So what am I talking about here? The cost of housing is going to be a lot lower than other parts of the city. Food and grocery shopping, a lot of times is going to be a lot less in the communities of South LA. Gas prices are usually going to be the lowest that you can find in a city here in South LA. And so a lot of other different things that you have to do on a daily basis, you will receive some savings by spending a lot of your time in South Los Angeles. So I think it's really important to understand that all the things that come along with South LA, one of the huge benefits of South Los Angeles is that it is pretty affordable compared to other parts of Los Angeles County. All right, so the next thing I want to tell you about is car culture here in Los Angeles and especially in South LA. Now, LA is a place that's very spread out. So if you want to get around the city, it's very most likely that you're going to have a car. Now, there is a lot of public transportation and most of the public transportation in LA will get you to your destination. It's just going to take a while to get there, but it's very popular here in Los Angeles and especially South LA to have a car. Now, there's a lot of things that come along with having a car. And the number one thing you want to know is that LA is notorious for our traffic, and that's especially true in South Los Angeles. In South LA, there's going to be traffic, especially in the morning times when most people are going to work, and especially in the afternoon times. Now, in the middle of the day, let's just say from 10 a.m. to about 2 p.m., it's not so bad. You can move around pretty easily throughout the different streets in South LA. But during that, like I said, morning rush hour traffic and that afternoon rush hour traffic, you'll definitely be sitting in a lot of traffic. Now, what comes along with a lot of that traffic is the, I would say, aggressive car culture or driving culture that you're going to experience in South LA. And this is really important because not everyone is used to this. One of the things you'll definitely see in South Los Angeles is that not everyone obeys or respects traffic laws. So a lot of people will run red lights, a lot of people will not obey stop signs, and it can honestly create a very dangerous environment. And it is very much a part of the culture here, so it's something that you need to know about, get used to it, and you're going to need to learn to drive very defensively because you need to always assume that the other person that you're interacting with in traffic is probably not going to do what they're supposed to do. And this is very real. I'm being honest with you. I have been in several accidents in South Los Angeles, and so I'm speaking from first-hand experience here. It's just a part of the way things are here in this part of the city. Like I said, not everybody is going to be respecting all the traffic laws and things like that. So you got to get used to that. The other thing that comes along with that is a lot of time the streets here in South LA are very narrow. And so, you know, you might be driving down the street. You have cars parked on this side, cars parked on this side. You're coming down the street and there's another car coming. And I've seen that lead to standoffs and things like that. So you kind of just have to, when you're navigating the streets of South LA, be a little bit giving. You can't always be so demanding. You're going to have to sometime pull over so that other cars can go by. So that way everybody can keep the peace and we can, you know, keep the day going, right? But it is really important if you're somebody that's not used to that and you come off and, you know, there's another car in front of you and you guys are both just standing there, you're going to waste both of your times and it can get hostile really quick. So it's important to understand that that is just a part of the culture of living in South LA. You kind of got to give a little bit, and sometimes you're going to be the one going down and they're going to give a little bit, but it is a part of the culture here. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is parking. A lot of the communities in South LA don't have the best parking, and that's because there's a lot of multi-families that are living in homes, and so everybody in the family has a car, and because of that, it takes up a lot of the street parking. So for some people, you have to park your car way down the street or around the corner and things like that. So parking can definitely be very tough. So if you're considering moving to South Los Angeles, you definitely want to talk to your landlord or the new home that you're looking to purchase. You want to make sure it has ample parking for you, your family, and if you're going to have guests. A lot of times when people are having guests over or parties and things like that in South LA, you're going to tell your guests just to take an Uber because parking is a very tough situation. So all of those things I just mentioned are related to the car culture, and the car culture is definitely different in South LA than it is in other parts of Los Angeles, and so I wanted to make sure you guys knew about that. All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is going to be the schools. Educating your children in South LA is definitely going to be a bit of a challenge because almost every single school located in South LA is an underperforming school. A lot of these schools are receiving C and lower ratings on all the different websites that you look up. So it's kind of very well known. And if you don't know it, I'm telling you now that the schools in South Los Angeles are not the best schools in Los Angeles. West LA and a lot of the more coastal cities have much better school systems. What a lot of parents do, especially since you're saving so much money on housing in South LA, is you're going to take a portion of that money and you're going to put it back into your kids' education and send them to private schools. Now, there's a lot of private schools all throughout LA. That you can look into for getting a great education for your kids, or you're just going to have to be very involved in your kids' local school. That means being a part of the PTA, making sure you're having a lot of conversations with the teacher so that you can make sure that your child is getting the education that they need if you're going to rely on the local school system. So that is very important. If you're considering moving here from someplace else, you definitely are going to have to take into consideration what your educating of your children is going to look like. Like I said, it's either going to be relying on the local public schools and being a lot more involved, or you're most likely going to be spending money on private schools. All right, so another thing that I wanted to teach you guys about that's a part of the culture of living in South LA is that you will constantly hear police activity and you will constantly hear a lot of helicopters. For whatever reason, I lived in a lot of different parts of Los Angeles. I've lived in West LA, I've lived in Marina, I've lived on the coast, I've lived in Venice, California, and I've lived all around. And I have friends that live in every part of Los Angeles. And nowhere like in South LA are you burdened by constant helicopter traffic. Helicopters are very often flying around in our skies in South Los Angeles. And you always, a lot of times we'll hear a lot of police activity and things like that, sirens going off and stuff like that. It's almost to the point where you just have to get used to it. It's funny because if you're on the neighborhood app or on the Ring apps in South LA, you'll hear a lot of the new folks that are moving to South LA constantly complain about it. And it's something that you just definitely need to know about and get used to. For whatever reason, it's very much a part of South LA culture, and it always has been. If you think back to movies you saw back in the 90s and stuff, that was always something that was portrayed as far as living in South LA, and it's still very much true today. I'm hoping that the police comes up with something new. Maybe they'll replace helicopters one day and start going with drones or something. I don't know, something a little bit more silent, but it is something that you definitely want to know about. All right, guys, so I just covered the 5 things I think that you absolutely need to know about before deciding to make South Los Angeles your new home. If you have any questions about South LA, or if there's something you feel like I didn't mention, or if you have more questions about something I did talk about, please feel free to leave comments below. I will answer any questions that you guys leave in the comments, or if it's something that you want to take offline, then go ahead, feel free to reach out to me. You can call me, text me, or email me. All of my contact information is below in the description. So if you have any questions, like I said, go ahead and feel free to reach out. And if you're interested in getting into the Los Angeles real estate market and you want to create a plan, I highly recommend that you schedule a consultation with me. We'll hop on that Zoom call. I'll discuss your unique situation, and I'll help you come up with a game plan so that you can win in this Los Angeles real estate market. All right, guys, that's all I have for you in this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.